Hey everybody, I'm Jan Weisel, or as my YouTube handle says, it's WeiselJ. And this video is just a quick review of all my collection of John Olerud game use bats. And as I've said to a couple of my friends online, this isn't an attempt to brag or anything, but it's certainly not in the spirit of John Olerud, his playing career. This is just me sharing my collection of Olerud game use equipment. And I'm trying to do it in chronological order as best I can. And so I'll start with what I think is my oldest bat, and that's this one right here. It's a Louisville Slugger. It's an older generic model. It's a model P72, and you see it just has simply stamped Olerud, his last name, and then Toronto Blue Jays. And again, this is just a generic model Louisville Slugger. It is a professional grade bat. And just down here below the logo, you'll see it's got an autograph from him. The bat itself displays some really great game use. The wood grain is separating, or what professional players call dead wood. Throughout the entire bat itself, it's got some really great pine tar use. And on the bottom of the knob, you'll see that there's several jersey numbers displayed on there. Now, all of us who are fans know that when Olerud was with the Toronto Blue Jays, he wore jersey number 9. But as players progress in the professional leagues, they tend to leave their bats behind in the dugout or in the clubhouse, and other players have the tendency to use them. So you'll see that from time to time, there's other jersey numbers on the knob. But I do believe that this is a genuine game used bat from John Olerud, and it does have an autograph on it that I believe is legitimate. Now the next bat I have is also a Louisville Slugger, but it's a little bit more unique. It is a Louisville Slugger, model 125. It is stamped genuine, model R219, and it really is a model that's reserved for strictly professional players. You won't find anything like this in the stores. It is stamped with his full name, John Olerud, and it still also says Toronto Blue Jays. And one of the things that's unique about this model R219 is the knob is a little bit cone-shaped, and in the early 90s, cone-shaped knobs were really pretty rare. But on the bottom of it, again, you'll see the knob has a jersey number 12. So most likely what happened was John Olerud was issued this bat, used it for a little while, and then left it behind for another player to acquire it and use it. The next bat is going to be another Louisville Slugger. This one obviously is black. I don't have any pictures of Olerud actually using a black bat in game use, but this is a genuine model M253. Again, that's strictly a model reserved for professional players. You won't find this on the racks in the stores anywhere. So again, I do believe this is a genuine game used bat. Again, it has his full name of John Olerud and Toronto Blue Jays stamped on the bat. On the bottom of the knob, it does have his actual jersey number of 9. Let me make sure it's the right side up. There you go, jersey number 9. And even though the bat is black, it does have some really nice accumulation of pine tar on it. So again, I do believe this is a genuine John Olerud game used bat, and just a really unique item since it's a black Louisville Slugger. Now here's a bat that any Toronto Blue Jays fan will definitely be familiar with. It's manufactured by the Cooper brand, which a lot of the Toronto Blue Jays used during the World Series runs and the heyday of the early 90s of the Toronto Blue Jays. It's a Cooper Pro 100 model. It does have a signature style print of John Olerud on it, and it does have an autograph from him. The autograph is fading a little bit. Unfortunately, I had it in a glass display case that had some sunlight on it, and over time I believe it may have been affected by a little bit of that sunlight. But one of the great things about this bat is it shows a great crack in it from game use. And really close, if you look really close on the grains, you can see again some accumulation of pine tar. And most of the early photos and baseball cards of John Olerud demonstrate that a lot of his bats were Cooper brand until he signed his professional contract with Rawlings. And again, on the knob, it does have the number 9 on the knob, and if you look really close you can see some ballpoint pen markings from the factory before they issued it to him and it went to the clubhouse, and the clubby or the equipment manager wrote his jersey number on it for him, connotating that this is a 35-inch 32.5-ounce bottle bat. Now, once Olerud got much more accomplished in his career and he was beloved for his so-called sweet swing, and he truly blossomed into the great hitter that he was known, he finally signed his professional contract with the Rawlings company. And so here we have my first example of a Rawlings brand bat. Up at the top it has his signature big stick with his full name, John Olerud, and below that Blue Jays. This bat is from 1993, and as anybody who's a real Olerud fan knows, that 93 was his heyday, and I'll show you the proof of that at the bottom here in a minute. But this bat shows some great wear and tear. It's got some great bat rack marks. On the bottom you can see where it was tamped down into the ground a lot. On the back side it's got a nice little piece missing out of it, so this was definitely a game used bat. It's got some wood grain separation from continuous usage, and probably the coolest thing about this bat overall is on the bottom, hopefully the camera can zoom in on it, it's stamped 1993. So that confirms that this bat was from his 1993 American League batting championship season. Again, we have another fine example of a Rawlings Toronto Blue Jays bat. This bat I wanted to get just because I thought it was a little bit cleaner example of his time with the Toronto Blue Jays. Again, a beautiful game used bat with some really nice bat rack scrapings. You can see a scuff from the ball being used, and then a real nice accumulation of pine tar around the logo and on the handle of the bat. Let me see what season this one was from. This bat also was from 1993. This next bat in my collection is again another Rawlings bat. You can see where the Rawlings company changed the logo from the word Rawlings to the large capital R in the oval and a full solid circle. Here we have, after Olerud was traded from Toronto Blue Jays, he went to the New York Mets. So here we have a Mets game used bat and a nice autograph in bold black ink. Again, we've got some really nice bat rack scrapings, scuffs from the ball. I don't know if the camera will be able to zoom in. You can see actually seams from the ball itself. And we've got nice accumulation of pine tar, and this bat itself has a real good crack in it. So again, you know that this bat was most likely used in a game. And judging from the knob, this bat is from the 1999 season and has jersey number 5 on the bottom of it. And as we all know, once he was traded from the Blue Jays to the Mets and then eventually to the Mariners, he wore number 5. Just another example of a Mets game use bat. This one did not have an autograph on it, but it did have some real nice game use. Not much pine tar, but you can still see ball marks and scrapes from the bat rack. This bat is from the 1999 season, and on the bottom it's stamped model M433. So if anybody's interested in knowing, a genuine Olerud bat is model M433. This next bat, even though his label's really badly faded off, chipped off, it of course obviously is an Olerud bat. This is the first one that I have from the Mariners. One of the coolest things about this bat is what's on the bottom of the knob. It's stamped year 2000 ALCS, and all baseball fans know that ALCS stands for American League Championship Series. Now unfortunately the Mariners didn't win and didn't go on to the World Series, but this is a really cool piece of memorabilia from the American League Championship Series of 2000, and it's just awesome to have one from your favorite player. Again, another Mariners bat. This one's got a really nice, crisp, clean, black ink autograph from the Mariners. This bat is solid. There's no cracks, no breaks, and this one actually kicked off my collection of John Olerud game bats. This is the first one that I was ever able to get a hold of. So this one is always near and dear to me. If we look down on the knob, we can see that this bat is also from the 2000 series. Now this next bat is a little bit unusual. As we all know through collecting his cards, looking at pictures off the internet or wherever, Olerud had an explicit contract with Rawlings. However, it still didn't change the fact that he was a popular professional athlete, and so companies would routinely send professional athletes examples of their products. And this one here is an X-Bat. It is stamped Model 11 with John Olerud on it. This is a solid grain maple bat, which is my first example that I have of Olerud using a maple bat. On the bottom of the bat, it's somebody had written the jersey number 5, but just handling this bat, it's a little bit shorter than the Rawlings models. The handle's a little bit thicker, so obviously he rejected it, just didn't care for it or whatever, didn't change companies and stayed true to the Rawlings products. But this is just a really neat, interesting collectible to add, and I thought I'd like to have it in my collection. Again with the Rawlings, but there's going to be some new changes to the product. Around 2003, 2004, the Rawlings company started changing their markings of their professional issued game bats. The words Big Stick went from solid black to only outline, and instead of going from team name, they just changed to the word Pro. But this is a solid maple bat, of course, of Olerud's. That just is a beautiful piece, and one of the coolest things about this bat is what we're going to notice on the bottom of the knob is the jersey number 18 is written on the bottom of the knob. And again, those of us who are die-hard Olerud fans know that the only time he wore jersey number 18 is when he was with the New York Yankees. He was only with the Yankees for a short time, so to me this is a really cool, pretty rare collectible, and I'll definitely treasure this one in my collection for sure. But again, this is a solid maple bat by Rawlings. This is the first official maple bat that I have of Olerud's, and even if you hate the Yankees, you know that everything they do is first class, top notch, and so that's probably where Olerud's made a switch from ash bats to maple bats. This is another bad example I have. It's made of ash. It is Rawlings, but if you notice on the top it has the new Pro issue markings of the company where the words Big Stick are not solid black ink, they're outlined. They do have John Olerud in full name, and then has the word Pro. Again, Rawlings, they simply stopped taking the team names off the bats and just marked it as Pro. I think they probably may have done that just because a lot of popular players were trading teams routinely, so it's just easier to print the word Pro instead of their team name. But it has some really great pine tar accumulation all the way up and down the bat. It's got some great ball marks on it and scrape marks from the bat racks. And on the bottom here, it is marked jersey number 19. And again, those of us who are diehard Olerud fans know that jersey number 19 is when he made his switch from the New York Yankees over to the Boston Red Sox. And after taking a little close look at the knob of this bat, you might see that it's stamped 2004. And this could have been a leftover bat from his time with the New York Yankees, or leftover even from the time with the Seattle Mariners. But it still has the jersey number 19 written on the bottom of it, so it probably just transferred from one clubhouse to another and then was remarked by the clubhouse manager or the equipment manager. These last two bats are absolutely fantastic. It's hard to read, but it does say Big Stick, John Olerud, and Pro. But the great thing about this bat is the much anticipated red ring. And those of us who are diehard fans, we know that the only time Olerud used red ring bats was his time with the Boston Red Sox in 2005. So this is just a fantastic piece of Boston Red Sox history, and it's got a great big huge snap along it, so I don't know if this was a batting practice bat or an early game use bat, but it's got a huge amount of pine tar accumulation, humongous break in the maple, and just a fantastic bat. Just a really cool thing to have in your collection. It's got a great amount of game use on it, lots of ball scuffs, lots of ball seam marks, so it's really cool to have in my collection. Now, one of the things about this bat is, again, it also has the jersey number 19 written on the bottom of the knob, and the knob itself is stamped 2005, so we know this is from his final season of professional baseball. And my last and final bat, I have 15 total, but this is the last and final bat, is, again, it's a Rawlings Maple Red Ring John Olerud game used bat. Again, it's got the Big Stick in outline writing with the name John Olerud and the word Pro on it. It's almost in mint condition, but it has been used. It's got some great ball marks on it. On the top of the bat, you can see where it's got some green scuffs on it from the inside of the Boston Red Sox dugout. Their bat rack is made of green, or excuse me, it's painted green. So that's obviously came from their dugout, but just a beautiful, beautiful game used bat. It's got a little bit of pine tar accumulation on the handle, but this bat is solid. There's no cracks in it. This thing is game ready right now. On the bottom of the knob, it's written jersey number 19, and again, it's stamped year 2005. So that's my collection of John Olerud game used bats. Thanks for everybody taking the time to watch the video. I'm sorry if it was pretty boring, but that's also probably in the spirit of Olerud. He wasn't a flashy, exciting player. He was just a good, hard-working athlete and down-to-earth guy. So that's my collection, and thanks for watching. If anybody has any memorabilia out there they'd like to trade or offer up, that's great. None of these bats are for sale, so please don't ask. I appreciate the offer, but none of them are for sale for right now, and thank you very much. Bye.